Good evening, team RFI. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. You're audible.
Thank you. Good evening, Chabra sir.
हाँ जी, गुड इवनिंग मैम, गुड इवनिंग।
Shall we start, sir? Okay. Good evening, team RFI, distinguished schedule expert, and esteemed participants. I am Neha Jain, honored to serve as the program coordinator for the 10 days international training program and faculty development program on advanced tools and techniques for research methodology. On the second day, our attention is drawn to the intricate concepts of research design and sampling. Today's spotlight shines brightly on Dr. Sheshth Chabra Sir, our revered expert of the day. His presence enriches our discourse, and it's a privilege to have him grace our program. Together, we embark on this educational journey made possible through the collaborative efforts of the Research Foundation of India, RFI-CARE, and the World Innovators University. Moreover, we are immensely grateful for the generous sponsorship provided by JHERF, World Virtual Conference Forum, World Federation of Science and Technology, International Research Guide Federation, Academic Research Guide Association, Edu Academic Incorporation, whose support has made this initiative possible. Now, let me introduce our distinguished expert, Dr. Chabra Sir, a luminary in the realm of education. With over 2 decades of teaching experience, he brings a wealth of knowledge and insight to the table. His academic journey, crowned with a PhD in labor welfare, speaks volumes about his dedication to scholarship and research. Currently serving as an associate professor at Delhi College Business School, Indore, his contributions extend far beyond the confines of academia. As a prolific author and reviewer, his work resonates across national and international platforms, shaping discourse and driving meaningful change. His affiliations with esteemed journals and editorial boards underscore his unwavering commitment to excellence. Moreover, his role as a mentor and coordinator reflects his passion for nurturing entrepreneurship and fostering academic growth. In addition to his scholarly pursuits, his involvement in various professional associations and his stellar record as a session chair and facilitator further attest to his exemplary leadership and expertise. His impact extends beyond the classroom, earning recognition from prestigious institutions and organizations alike, including the Rotary Club, Amity Business School, and EMG SSM Trust. In essence, he personifies the spirit of innovation and excellence, inspiring generations of educators and learners. So let's we embark on this enlightening journey guided by his wisdom and expertise. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And it's pleasure always, to interact with the fellow colleagues from different parts of the country. Uh, and I'm equally thankful to Ajay sir, uh, RFI, my parent organization as RFI, for providing this platform wherein we all can interact with each other. Uh, before I get into talking about of the date and the things today, uh, let me know. Let me share some of my. Let me ask you a few quick questions, and then we would start with the show today. uh, how many of you are pursuing a PhD? Okay.
Sir, my name is Shaukat Fakir from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. I
Okay.
have pursued my PhD in wind energy, sir. I am basically student of geography, and I have studied made my research in energy resources, wind energy, and rural development in this
Great.
way.
Great. Great. That's great. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. So I see views of hand raised. So I believe I have some of some of my fellow colleagues who are pursuing their PhD. So that's great. You have at least you have taken that idea with you. So without taking much of your time, I would directly take over the things. Give me 1 second, please. Here we go, and here I am. So you are able to see my screen, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. Thank you much. So good evening, one and all. So today I would be talking to you, giving you a brief idea as to what research design and sampling is all about. Uh, Largely, I would be talking to you my ideas or my, rather than being it a theory, I would be talking you my ideas and my uh, experiences in research. Since I also serve as uh, research, as a research. What I help people in their research work through being a reviewer and editorial board with journals. So, what have been my experiences dealing with for all for all these years? What we appreciate as a reviewer, what we look forward to as a reviewer, plus my experience as a PhD guide. So I would, and then PhD scholar also. So I would be summing up all those experiences for you as to when we talk about research design and sampling. See, when to so if you have got any questions or any expectations from today's session, probably you can spell that out before I start, so that I can view around my thoughts around that. So anyone has got any expectation or any suggestion for me, so you can go around and tell me that. Any expectations in particular or in general, maybe, or anything that you would like me to specifically talk about? Then you can talk. You can say that I would be talking that. I would be keeping that in mind when I talk to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Sir, so as we know that when we study about research, there is one thing when we study it on paper and one thing when we apply it. So, could we please focus on how to actually differentiate into what we are studying and how to apply it in the field? Like we
Okay.
have written something on paper, we know we have to follow a research design, but when it comes to practically applying it, how can we maintain the integrity of the study with that? Because this is the basic where we begin our research from. And if
Yes,
this is not standardized, somehow the outcomes may be affected. So,
yes.
the theoretical and the practical portion, how do we combine those two together?
Okay, great. That's a great idea to begin with. Okay, let me start giving you an idea. Since you have talked about that thing, let me start giving you an idea. Uh, One of my student approached me and he said to me that sir, I want to do a great research. I don't want to divulge any information regarding that. I want to do a great research, and when you start with any research idea, you actually want it to be great. You want to actually deep dive into it. You want to explore many dimensions of the problem and whatnot. As research progresses, ma'am, uh, two things generally happen. This is what my experience is. Two things generally happen. One, as you said, you know, people slowly, fade away because they feel that okay, this is something which is, very wide. This has gone out of the bounds. They actually fail, and they somehow, either they try to leave it or they somehow want to complete it. Okay, citing many reasons. With due respect to all guides and everything, this is not working, that is not working, my guide is not helping. Many things crop up then. Okay, and even then I've seen some of the research people, they start facing problems related to their jobs. I don't get much time. I have got kids at home, I have to take care of them also. So n number of things crop up. So before anything, before anything, two things, please be, please make sure of two things. One, whenever you start with research, try and start with utmost clarity. And let me explain this idea to you. What does this utmost clarity means? And since Ayushi ma'am, I hope you were the one who asked me this question. Since
Yes, sir.
when we are talking about this utmost clarity, and since you say that the research design is something that a research should start with. One second, ma'am. 1 second, please. And since you say that research is first thing that we should be starting on with, my first idea to you is that, can you see the unseen? Let me repeat that and let me explain that to you. Can you see the unseen? If I say that research design is simply, say you are making up a home. So what would you do? You would go to an architect, you would go to an interior, you would ask them a design or something like that. Can you actually see the what is what is beyond a vision? What can you visualize things? And that's what I mean by a research design. It's not about theoretically which descriptive. I would be talking some theories to you, that how you can pick up a research, or what what ideas can help you in picking up a research design. But my primary idea to you in a research design, because that is what largely would determine your research outcomes. Can you do you have got a mind map of your thesis? If you are actually doing a thesis, or if you are guiding a thesis, for sure, do you have actually a mind map of larger mind map? See, you can always have small fillers. Okay, see, if I am making a room, what my room should look like, I'm not talking about the entire house, what my room should look like, can I visualize that? I can always alter one or the other thing while on the go times. This is what research also is all about. So once you have got that clarity of this thing, okay, as to what it should broadly talk about, you are almost there. You're almost there. Okay, so how you would look into everything, right from your, you already decided your topic, so how you would proceed beyond the topic, that is what a research design and research thing should do for you. Okay, so it should bring in more and more clarity to you. Now, how it should bring clarity to you? Okay, so let me give you a few tips on this thing, since you want it to be more practical in approach. So let me give you some practical idea to it. Has some friend promised you some data, that okay, I would help you in collection of data? Maybe yes. Or have you actually looked into, see, uh, when I teach business modeling, I talk one idea to students, that in a startup you have got some risky assumptions to make. Okay, say for example, government would buy my project. Okay, or government would be one of my supplier giving the things. By the time you actually start up, the government may change, or by the time you actually start up, the policy of government may change, and they would not be, or they may not be your buyer. So what would happen then? You would be in a fix. Similarly, in any project, not only in a startup, in any project, even in thesis also, please plan it very meticulously, not to be dependent on some sources of data. Okay, like say for example, anyone who is doing a PhD in finance, anyone among you who is doing a PhD in finance, I'm just asking it as a question. Okay, I'm not trying to divulge or make a remark on anyone. I've got few hand raised. Do you have any question or comment to ask? I see AS Pooja, Supriya Motwani, Perunna Das. So few hands are raised. Um, so any particular question that you want to ask me? So anyone who has got a finance PhD, who comes from a finance PhD background? So, with if yes, I want to explain you what is this idea of risky assumption in a design. See, you say, for example, you are doing a PhD on banking, and you think that banks would give you a data except for what is available on a public domain, or for that matter, any banking company or any other company other than that also any other company would divulge you any financial data. When you that's a serious question mark. Even if you write over there that I give an example. While even in questionnaire design, if you ask someone their name, their mobile number, their things like that, how many of you are ready to give your mobile number? Say, for example, if I want it for my research, I want to say that for authenticity of my questionnaire, my guide has suggested me that go and collect a mobile number of those things. How many of you are ready to give me your mobile numbers? Even if I write over there that this data would be used only for academic purposes, probably no. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. To the minus level at that thing, please have a clarity in mind. Okay, now you may question me next thing that it's not necessary, sir. I'm starting off with my thesis. It's not necessary that I may, I don't have that clarity in mind. So who would bring in me that those clarities that, what all should I do? What all should I not do? How should I apply certain things, or what should I leave from that thing? Now, the simple answer to that is that there are two ways of looking at it. One, have you visualized your topic to a far end? When I say this, I'm not talking only statistically. Please understand one thing. Your topic is more than mere statistics. Please understand this thing. What test would you apply? What data would you collect from what data? Largely, I'm sorry to say this, but largely we rely more on data, statistical test, and that's all. That's how we understand most of the thesis. Now, to my extent, that is only halfway of it understanding it. Okay, no doubt, I'm not against statistics or that thing. I teach statistics for that matter. But my point that I'm trying to make to you is that there is more to life in a thesis than only statistics or data. It's about a topic. It's about when you would complete that thesis tomorrow, people would not only be asking statistics or data. People would be asking you the genesis of the topic, why you picked up this topic, how you went about this topic, and then questions would flow. And in that flow, they would try to understand from you how did you collected data and things like that. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Don't be over obsessed with the data. Okay, so data and everything is only one part of the entire thing. Okay, your thesis, your understanding of the subject is more than only merely relate or merely driven by data, or it's not just limited to data. So please have a larger understanding of that. Remember one thing: you are the only source of information about yourself. Always remember this. So you are the best guide on your topic. That's guides are there to guide you, to help you. As a guide, I am making this comment. Guides are there to guide you, to help you, but we would rely on your idea or your clarity of thoughts. Say, for example, if you sit with an architect to design a house, the architect would largely rely on your idea of what you want, what you don't want. He might have a standard idea, or he might have a certain thought that he wants to do. So it is you who would actually give him the thought that okay, this is what you want, this is what you don't want. You have read this research, this is what has come up. So primarily, this is your baby. So nurture it as your baby. Please understand this thing. This research is your baby. So when you are planning research design, Ayushi ma'am, as you said it very clearly, and that is what I is quite appreciated. Don't plan it from a theoretical perspective. Okay, plan it from a very practical idea. Plan it from a macro level. See, micro things can always fit in. You can always, maybe you can always put one thing in the wardrobe and remove another thing. That's always done. We all redo and do it again. Our wardrobes are always redone. That should not be a botheration. Where my wardrobe should be there, what length, breadth, everything. That is what is most important. So do I have got a clarity on that thing? So do I got, to the extent that I've got a clarity on my PhD topic or the research paper topic, that is what would matter the most to start with. So that's what I'm saying. Have you drawn a mental map of it? Please, if you are not done this, please do it now. Even if your research topics have been registered, you have been approved by RSE, okay, your committee has approved it, research committee has approved it, please try and draw a mental map of it. Okay. So I hope my first point is clear to you, because that is what would give you, if you want to actually benefit from an FDP like this, okay, so you would be investing 7-8 days in this, 8 days long in this FDP. So if you actually want to benefit from this FDP, please make sure that you have got this first clarity of mental map. So am I clear on my first point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now I come to the theory part of it, that what can be the research designs, or how you can look out for different types of designs. Which design can be more suitable for my topic? So let's quickly take them one by one. Since I have got limitation of time also with me, so I won't be taking you too in depth, and specifically I would be talking more of a practical idea to you. Largely, social science researches are descriptive in nature. And what do I mean by that? Being descriptive in nature. See, if you want to ask, if you're a marketing guy, you want to know that how much my consumer is satisfied. If you want to say do a comparative study on maybe say gender or based shopping things, anything like that. I give you a simplest example of, remember that you had your CBC done, your complete blood count done at any given point of time. You had your blood test done, a simple blood test.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what does that blood test says? It writes actual value, and on the other hand, on the other side it writes the standard values, that hemoglobin should be between this and this, and this is your actual value. This is the simplest example of a descriptive design. This is the simplest example. Okay, so that is how it is like. So you are trying to actually describe that, look, this is what is your idea, or this is what is your level of things. Okay, so you can adopt any of these methods, as simple as this case study designs. What you do, you pick up one organization, usually not recommended for PhDs. Okay, but if you you have chosen that way, so you can choose up a case study based design. Usually a research paper would be more appropriate for a case study design rather than a PhD. So case study design, the best part is that you focus more, you would get many insights onto that organization. Say if I want to do a research on employment engagement practices in Tata Group or any Tata Group company, say for example, so that essentially would mean a case study design. Okay, uh, obviously the limit is that I cannot generalize it. Okay, so the way Tatas are doing it, that may be one example, but that does not mean that everyone would follow the similar steps. But yes, that can be a guideline for everyone else to follow. Okay, so what you can do, you can create a cross-sectional studies. You have got a stratified group. Let me give you one idea of stratified groups. Stratified groups are those wherein you can see a clear-cut separation between that, between different groups, like say male, female, or say income groups. So you can belong to one of the income groups out of many. You can be studying in one class. You can belong to one age group. So something like that, which are non, non in nature. So those are cross-sectional in nature. If you are doing anything, like say you want to compare permanent and temporary workers, you want to compare, say, investor, many finance people do this topic, investor psychology. Okay, so you want to study that, okay, how is say occupation, so you can belong to one occupation at one given particular time. Largely yes, okay, largely yes, unless and until you can be, you are talking about something which is you're studying that class of worker group which has got a very diminished idea of working. Okay, so say in morning they would be doing something else, in evening they would be doing something else. So if you are not studying that age, that work group, then obviously any such ideas would fall under cross sectional groups. Okay, so over a period of time, it cross sectional can always be linked with a longitudinal means time based study. Okay, so that say for example how the preferences of male and female have changed over a period of time relating to certain things. Okay, so that can always be there. Qualitative studies, see, it's always better that it's that you always have an answer to whys. Why I tell you, because when you would write interpretation and discussion after your studies, so you need some extra inputs. Okay, so you would need that extra inputs on that thing that you would be picking up. So you need those extra inputs. Those extra inputs can come from a qualitative study. Okay, so you can have in-depth interviews scheduled so that you can understand aspect, you can understand the nuances, uh, you can understand that, okay, why this happens. See, largely in research, there are two parts of it. One, what is happening, okay, but management or any research, as a consumer of research, I would like to know why this is happening. You are telling me, okay, this is the new trend. Say for example, if you're telling me that this is the new trend of fashion, this is the new trend that we are observing, this is how the data, this is what the data suggests. Agree. My second question to you as a consumer of research would be, why is this data suggesting? Okay, what is this that it makes this data sounds like this? So can I get more insights on this data? I hope you're getting my point. Okay, so this more insights on data would be something that a qualitative study would get you with. Okay, so if you can indulge into this thing, obviously it's a time consuming process, but if you can at any given point of time, if you can look for this, then that would be a good thing to look. Okay, now we come on to the exploratory research. Exploratory researches are something that dimensions of which are less known. If you have picked up a topic uh, from a non-science, any background, if you have picked up a topic which are yet, which are on an exploration mode, that means which are the dimensions of which are not looked into, that what makes it this way. Okay, so then pick up an exploratory design. You don't have much data to talk about. Say, for example, uh, we were all stuck with COVID in 2020. It's 2024. Obviously, now almost 3 years. Okay, thankful 4 years after COVID that most of us survived and most of us are, living happily. Uh, what is it, if you want to study that, what all has been the pattern of jobs? Say, for example, okay, pre-COVID and post-COVID. So forget about it. See, I personally believe that gone are those days when we picked up that idea that see pre-91 post-91 economics. Okay, to my idea, this should be a new point of research. If any economist is there present, one in my colleagues on the platform, then I would urge them to do studies pre-COVID and post-COVID, all economic parameters on pre and post-COVID. Some researchers are always on. Okay, we keep listening to those researchers. If you are, if you are from a science background, do a research on how things have changed pre and post-COVID, maybe immunity or many things around. Okay, so consumer behavior. Okay, pre and post COVID, they have undergone a huge change. So the way people like it to be, okay, things. So many things. You come from, my idea telling you is that you come from any basic research field, your idea of exploratory designs can always be improved upon things studying in pre and post COVID conditions. Okay. So if you are planning any research like that, that can follow an exploratory research design. Okay. So most of the time the problem is only one thing: you may not have a great sample size, but that's okay. Okay. There would be questions on to it. But I believe post COVID, if you are doing any research, so now you would have a good sample since it has been 4 years. Okay. Or you want to take an experiment. Remember those science experiments? Okay. That if we take a leaf, put it under shade, then the same other leaf is exposed under the sun. So this part of leaf goes, say, lighter, that part of the leaf is still darker. So you can also plan your research. Okay, that if you want to say have a control group and a test group. So if you want to do this, between this thing, a control group and a research, and say a control group and a test group, so you can also plan a research based on this thing, that a control group was given something, a research. Now let me give you an idea. Let me give you a practical idea as to how we have used this experimental research design. At one point of time, we had people coming out from, I'm talking about students. We had students coming out from a diverse background in terms of language, I'm saying. Okay, in terms of language. So we thought about an idea that why not to have a separate section of people who are not good at English and who are good at English. Okay. So we made two sections out of it. And obviously the section with a weaker English were given extra English classes. They had to stay back in campus. They they were given extra workshops, extra worksheets, and they had to work extra on English. Okay. After 2 years of it, what do you expect? What could have been the result? I hope you got my question.
Sir, can you please repeat it again once again, please?
Yeah, sure. See, we had students. We had students coming from a very diverse background. Okay, so we had one group of English. We had one chunk of students who were good in English, or at least they can speak English. We had another group of students who were not very proficient in language. They were slightly uh, and they had coming from small place type, small town boys or girls type. So they had a little average idea of English. So what we did, we made two sections out of it. So section A and section B. So section A with weak English and section B with good English. Say, for example, for simplicity, I'm giving you this idea. So what we did, so no, to section A that was weak in English, we had given them extra classes on English. We provided them extra worksheet. We appointed one teacher, okay, who can just deal with the English. Okay, because see, they have to give university exams in English and many things like that. 2 years we continued with
सर
this.
मैं सर एक मिनट मैं भी एक इसमें मेरा कुछ योगदान देना चाहता हूँ।
जी
96 में हम पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ते थे सर। हम बहुत देहात के लोग थे यूनिवर्सिटी में आने वाले। जब हम लोगों को अंग्रेजी नहीं आती थी और
जी
जो हम बीए बोले तो मराठी में के डायरेक्ट हम एमएससी को इंग्लिश मीडियम में जाते थे।
जी
तो वो बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत होती थी हमारे लिए। पर
जी
उस वक्त के जो वाइस चांसलर थे वसंत गोवारीकर साहब थे,
जी
उन्होंने ये
जी
पहचाना और उन्होंने हम जैसे बच्चों के लिए स्पेशल क्लास भराई और
जी
वो 3 महीने ट्रेनिंग दी हमको, अंग्रेजी कैसा
ग्रेट
लिखना है, कैसा
ग्रेट
कम्युनिकेशन
ग्रेट
कैसा करना है, कैसा पढ़ना है। तो वो तब क्रेडिट वचन तो गौरी का स्टाफ को जाता है। और
जी
उसके बाद में हम बहुत अच्छे पढ़े सर, हमारा एमएससी
ग्रेट
ज्योग्राफी भी हुआ। आज मेरी अच्छी अंग्रेजी है, मैं बोलते नहीं आता बट आई अंडरस्टैंड गुड इंग्लिश। मैं अच्छा
अरे
इंग्लिश
दैट
का
ग्रेट
न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ता हूँ, इंडियन एक्सप्रेस पढ़ता हूँ, बहुत ही अच्छा है सर। ऐसा
ग्रेट
ऐसा
ग्रेट
एग्जाम्पल हमारे बारे में हुआ था सर, पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी
अरे
में 96 में, आज के पहले 27 ईयर के पहले सर ये बात थी
दैट्स
सर।
ग्रेट
ऐसा है।
दैट्स
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
So, you have got a first-hand outcome of research, experimental research design. Okay. So, any guesses what could have happened in our case? हमारे केस में क्या हुआ होगा? आपको क्या लगता है? After 2 years of special English, sessions, English coaching, and as I told you, we went on to appoint a special teacher also. What could you feel that what would have been the outcome of this?
The group of the section or the group who were not very good at speaking or communicating in English, they
Hmm.
gradually improved. So
Okay.
if we have an assessment,
Hmm.
pre-assessment and maybe interim and post-assessment, then we can
Hmm.
actually quantify how much they have improved in
Okay.
their
Okay.
communication skill.
But ma'am, essentially your idea is that they would have improved. Yes.
Yes, they should improve if actually they are getting what they are being taught, and
Yeah.
actually they can apply it in the real field.
Okay. 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 Anyone else, or do you have have similar idea as to what ma'am just said?
Yes, exactly. That's what I feel, that the people who were given English classes, workshops, could have better results compared to the regular ones who were
Okay.
very good in English.
Okay. Okay. Great. So I believe that is generally we understand, and that is why we picked up this idea. Okay, I'm giving you a first-hand experience of experimental design. So please try and understand that way. To our surprise, the students actually didn't improve. Okay, and I tell you the reason for it. Okay, first year, as Pallavi ma'am and others suggested, that first year we thought that it might be that maybe our intended plan is not working well. It might have happened that because of that they might feel hours of English or anything like that. We figured out many reasons. We took input from the teacher also who was teaching us, I'm not getting into the details of it. But second year also, they did not improve. Okay. And the result that came to us were actually a shocking idea. Let me share you this thing. The result that came to us was a differential idea that, over a period of time, students developed this complex that, I've been given a special treatment, or I am, treated as a specially abled child just because of the thing that I don't understand the language. Okay. And some of them, while they were graduating, they graduated. Okay. They somehow some of them struggled, but finally all of them graduated. Okay. And when they were graduating, they came to us telling this thing that, sir, won't it have been better that if you would have been kept with the so-called English speaking things? So, under the peer pressure, I would have learned better rather than having created a separate type of thing. And believe me, that was the last batch, or whom this experiment was done. Thereafter, we created those, we amalgamated those two sections. Okay. We kept some of the average speaking with the poor speaking and things like that. So we amalgamated both the sections, irrespective of creating that conscious thing in their mind that I cannot speak a particular language. And believe me, this went on very smoothly. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I hope your my example to you, of a experimental research is clear and it is conveyed to you.
Sir, if you don't mind, can I put a question to your
Yes,
query, please?
please go ahead.
Sir, from the management research perspective, sir,
Yeah,
in these kind of cases, there will be n number of factors and reasons which might have affected. So we cannot
absolutely,
attribute one particular say.
Absolutely.
like for example, in this case that happened to you, yes, you suggested that you had amalgamated because the students felt that they were under separatism kind of thing.
Yes.
But maybe the same situation which had happened in different other colleges or classes, the first general solution would have worked. Who knows?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. That's what I'm saying. See, in an experimental design, Debrata sir, what happens that you may not be that confident as on the result. See, different batches, you and me have been teaching for years now. Different batches respond to the same thing very differently. Agreed?
Correct, sir. Agreed.
Okay.
Totally agree.
That's what I'm saying. At times,
That,
see, if I
that
might
means
have,
we can, sir. That means we
yes,
can zero down one particular thing that we cannot attribute to a single factor. That's what we
absolutely.
mean. Correct.
Absolutely,
Right.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what in an experiment now, coming on to the technical part of research, okay? If in a research you are choosing an experimental research design, then Debrata sir, you might have heard about one thing, that other factors remaining constant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, very
Okay.
correct, sir. I belong to
So
a technical background. I know it very well.
that's what I'm saying. That in an experimental design, you have to choose that. Say, for example, when we were trying to figure out a COVID vaccine, you were primarily attributing that can this vaccine help you in picking up immunity against a certain disease like COVID. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, that in an experimental design you pick up certain things or certain ideas with other factors remaining constant. Because why I tell you, either you expand the selection of this thing. That means you expand the research idea and you include more variables. Okay, try and include more. What I mean by more variables, simple. I mean, but this thing by more variables, that I include many ideas. Say, if you continue with this English example, so there could have been more variables to use. So have I tested all the variables and found the results? If not, then simply attributing or simply jumping onto this conclusion, you are absolutely right that you know amalgamation of sections and not having a separate section or separate teachings, because in other university this worked very well. Okay, in other university this has actually given very good results. We had just listened to Fakir sir. So that's what I'm saying. There is no way that you can that is the one way of doing it. That have you considered all possible combinations? If not, please don't try and suggest an answer to say when are you are using an experimental research design. Am I clear on this?
Surely, sir. Agreed.
Okay, so what I would suggest to you is that wherever possible, go with a mixed design. Wherever possible. What I mean by mixed design, let me give you a brief idea, a simple idea. I've got a questionnaire, because that's what most of the Indian studies would talk about. I've got a questionnaire for my design, and what I'm trying to do, I'm mixing an interview schedule with it. Okay, so the why of the things, I told you that things can give you what and things can give you why. So the why, many whys would be answered in an interview. Okay, so see, uh, when we talk to each other, there would be many things that would come up. Okay, I remember a beautiful couplet which says that ये हकीकत है कि होता है असर बातों में, तुम भी खुल जाओगे दो चार मुलाकातों में. What it means primarily is that it at times what happens that you may not be only restricted to a questionnaire. If you want people actually to respond back to you, or you want to know the insight of the data, talk to people. That is what my experience as a researcher tells you. Okay, this is time consuming. Okay, but if you get a chance, do this. Talk to people, maybe over telephone or face to face, whatever the way is allowed to you, but talk to them so that you can get many things around the data. This many things would help you in writing your inferences. Okay, that why this data is indicating this way. Okay, so if you talk to people, they can talk their heart out to you. And when people start talking their heart out to, not all probably, but even if some people talk their heart out to you, that would be a good thing. Okay, so that's what my suggestion to you is, wherever possible, follow a mixed design.
Not at all.
Okay. Anyone who's got anything to say? Mintu ma'am, your mic is on. Okay. So that's what I said. How can you choose a design? So probably you need to look out for, essentially look out for what previous research says. Okay. Essentially look out for what previous research says. Are you satisfied with the way it was done, or do you understand the way it was done? Do you are you in sync with the idea what the research is conveying to you? If yes, that could help you in choosing a design for your institution. For example, some research was carried out on, say, for example, Assam or New York or any other idea. And I don't want to copy paste this idea, but I want to get inspired from this thing, because mine and their research questions were similar. Okay. If that is so, then probably you understand that case somebody would be sitting in a difficult terrain. I'm sitting on plains, so probably approaching people in person would be a better idea rather than following that idea. So keep that copy paste in mind, but that can be a guide for you, that yes, you can also follow this type of design. Plus, take into consideration the resources which are at your disposal. Okay. So quickly I will move you to the sampling part. Okay. And I would skip on to, we understand these basics, that sample is something which should represent the population. Now let me tell you on this idea. If you have got a fair idea of your population, okay, a sample should actually represent the population. Now what do I mean by that? That a sample should represent the population. A sample should represent
Hello,
the population.
hello.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, I want to share my experience about the sampling.
Yes,
I'm
please go ahead,
Sunita.
ma'am.
I'm
Yeah, yes,
Sunita.
Sunita, ma'am.
Yeah, I am doing research on Anita Nayar's four novels. For that,
Okay.
I have selected 100 people for literature background and 100
Hmm.
people for do not belong to literature background. So I have
Okay.
prepared 25 question as a questionnaire and
Okay.
given to literature background. They themselves read the novel and answer the question. Open close-ended question. Four options
Okay.
are given,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm.
those people who do not belong the literature background, I have written the summary of that novel, four novels, and on the
Okay.
basis of the summary they interference and give the answer whether this kind of research sampling will be considered as experimental or not.
Ma'am, why it should be considered as experimental?
If I am putting a questionnaire and taking
I'm
as a
trying to understand, ma'am. Try to understand, ma'am. Why
yeah,
you think it would be put as a, even if, say for
yeah,
example, I'm giving you a pen to write. Okay.
okay,
I want a feedback on the pen. So
yeah,
I say tell you that, okay, have you used the pen? You said yes. Then give me the
yes,
feedback. If you said
okay,
no, I have not used the pen, then I give you a pen and say that, okay, use this pen, and I'm inducing this pen to you, introducing this pen to you. Use this pen and then give you a feedback.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
what do you think I'm doing? Am I doing an experiment?
You are giving the chance to first use it and then reply. In that case,
Okay.
it is experiment.
That's what I'm saying. There are
Yeah.
two ways of looking at it. If you are
Okay.
saying that one way is a controlled way and other way is a, see, in an experimental design, you would have a controlled thing and a test group. Okay.
Okay.
People
Yeah.
who would have read a certain literature, people who have not read a certain literature.
Yes.
So people who have read a certain literature, you want to know them that how good this literature is, say for
Yes.
example.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people who have
Yes.
not read the literature, if you want to ask them that have you missed something in life, okay, if
Yeah.
then I can actually assume that okay, this missing in life is because of the literature. Trying and get, I hope you are getting my point.
Yeah. Yeah, sir. Getting.
Okay, so that would
Sure.
make it an experimental design probably.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So, you must understand that population primarily should be a representative or a true representative. A sample should be a true representative of the population in all senses, or in the closest sense. Say in the
Oh,
sense of men versus women, in the sense of age, in the sense of occupation. So you have got, census data, you have got various statistical data that Government of India and various departments of Government of India publishes, okay,
Yes.
including at the district level also.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank you.
your sample, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So your sample should be actually a representation of the population. You cannot say that, generally we understand that gender ratio in India would be on an average, say 8:10, okay, or on 800:1000, or something like some data like this. So you cannot have, say, if in general I am talking about a sample, so my sample should reflect this type of a gender data, okay. So if I say that, say contractual labors are on a rise in industry, and I am giving the reverse of this data in my sample, then I'm contradicting to what I am saying, or I'm contradicting a research. Now, have I got valid grounds to contradict the research? If yes, go ahead and choose the sample. If no, forget about it. Say, for example, let me give an example as to what may contradict research. Soft works attract more females, like teaching. Teaching means like education, textile, IT. Therein you can find that the gender ratio can be of a different idea. You can have, say in a school, probably, I'm not talking about only girls schools, say in a general school also, you can have either an equal ratio or more of female and male ratio. Now this would be just opposite to an automobile, okay, wherein you would have more males and hardly any females. So a mechanical engineering class would have this ratio. A CS or IT class would have a different idea of gender. So that's what I'm saying. If you have got any particular reason or any particular inputs into as to how, then that sample would be different, because the population is different. Okay. So that's the reason I'm saying that it's easy to say that you derive sample out of the population, but it is, that you should understand that what population represent and how that population is actually, deriving that sample. Okay. So please keep in mind on to that thing. So I'm not getting on to this thing. Obviously, you understand that, random, non-random sampling. Obviously, you need, largely you need some selection process. And for selection process, it's always better that you have got a list. Okay. So if you have got a list, the random sampling can be done. So you can have simple or this type of random sampling. Let me quickly run through this idea. In a simple random sampling, say you have got a class sitting in front of you, you can point out any student and ask them to get up and answer a question. This is the simplest example of a simple random sampling, so that every student has got, unless and until you are pinpointing a backbencher or some other student doing some mischief, that's a separate idea. Otherwise, all students stand at an equal chance of answering a question by a teacher, or being called up by teacher. This is the simplest example of a random sampling. Stratified, I already told you that if you have got, say, say 12th board exams would be on, or they are on already. So after the 12th results, you want to conduct an analysis on, say, you divide students into 4 broad categories. Say, for example, uh, maths, biology, or life sciences, say, and commerce, and say humanities. And you want to compare, or say you want to do a research on that, how, which one performed the best, say, for example. So this would become a stratified random sample. Okay, as I told you, stratified means non-overlapping groups. Okay. Or you can pick up a systematic plan of picking, like, say, I'm picking up every 10th house, okay, or every 5th house. Okay. Now how do I arrive at every 3rd or 4th or 5th house? Say, for example, this is what is would give you an example. Okay. So you have got a purchase order of 10,000. The sample you decided to pick up 50. So out of this 10,000, you decide to pick up 50 as a sample. So every 200 sample, okay, uh, you know, this is how it would be like. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is that only thing to remain in a systematic sample, remember, in a systematic sample, is that it should be, you should not follow a pattern that after every 10th, every 10th, say, person in the list is a female. So jumble it up if you get some sample like this, or some list like this. Cluster based on area. So any distribution which is primarily an area based distribution, so organization which are primarily area based, or you want to study, say, Delhi. say for example, or you want to study any particular area, then you can always divide Delhi into four regions: east, south, north, west, something like that. And you can pick up samples from all the zones as a representative. So all zones of Delhi would give you a total idea of how, say, the consumption in Delhi, something like that. So anything which is an area-based idea,
That means
pick up
we can,
something. You,
so that means
you
we
please?
can, yeah, that means in cluster sampling we can take either the one country or one state as well, so that we can further it divide into sub districts or districts.
Ma'am, the simplest idea of cluster sampling is that if you are doing an area-based study, okay, then divide it in different zones or different places so that actually those represent, say for
If
example,
I want to conduct a study, particularly in India, so I just have to mention India and I don't have to mention the
ma'am,
others.
if you are saying it in India, that would be a too wide a sample, ma'am. Okay, so please consult your guide, okay, before you actually pick up an idea in India. See, it's a good thing to write an article concerning that, say, the state of AI awareness in India or the state of AI implementation in India. So as a general thing, you can talk about, I give an example. I'm writing a research paper on say the state of AI in education, say the state of AI adoption in education in India. Now this is okay. If I actually want to take it as a PhD topic, then I should practically consider my guide as to, because India would comprise all states. The states would at least, so what sample plan you are picking up, that is what, based on your research objectives, your sample plan, and then go back and visit research design. All should answer your question as to would India, choosing an area as India, would be suitable for doing a PhD. Okay, because then people expect that to be actually including states, all states. If you're talking India, ma'am. Okay, so if you have got different ideas, so of area, you can pick that up. Non-random sampling, very simple thing. Like say, uh, I asked a question whom I felt would answer it. This is the simplest way of looking into a convenience sampling. Uh, if you say if you want to buy a piece of land, then go and consult maybe some agricultural scientists or people who have you know uh, background of agriculture, because they are the best who can advise you on that thing. So that becomes a judgmental sampling when you actually get into an experts. Okay, you can have quotas. So you pick up people from different quotas, you pre-allot those quotas. Okay, as I told you that I would be doing some study on, say, permanent versus contractual labor. So so I would satisfy, I would pick up some people from permanent, some people from this thing, and then snowball. That means that, like say, how police catches up thieves. So they would catch up one member. If you say, if I want to do some research on drugs, so that's how I would be going around. That I cannot openly float a question here. So I have to, through some reference, I have to catch up first, say, a druggist or an addict. Now, through that, I can go to other people, and that's how it gathers a mass. So think about a small ball of snow rolling down a mountain. So slowly it would gather the mass, and that's how it converts it into a snowball. So it's the same thing that we would do over here. Okay, I'm picking up to quickly conclude my session on sample size. Okay, what sample size would be good thing? So as simple as this, you know, um, this is some strategy to determine the sample size. In a small population, you have to pick up everyone. Okay, say try and pick up the similar sample size of earlier studies, or from published table, something like this. This is a published table which gives you an idea as to what, on different types of uh, things, how you can pick up those samples. Okay, you can use formulas. So feed in those online formulas are available to you. You can please feed in those. If you have got the data, please feed in that thing. That would give you an a simple idea of calculating that thing, samples, and obviously the type of precision that you are looking forward to, or confidence, variability, validity. So I'm limited by time. I'm not getting into. But remember one simple thing: in statistics or in practical research, also there is one simple rule. Are you happy with the results? Answer is no. Increase the sample. Okay. Larger samples are less questioned. Say, for example, Shubha ma'am was saying that, say, for example, you are studying Delhi, or you're studying country, okay, a particular country. So, the larger sample that you pick, okay, the more valid your results would be, and the less questioned your research will be. The less research sample, say, I give you an example. I was reviewing a research, and this gentleman talked about a study of Philippines. Okay, his sample size was 120 or 140, some sample size like that, and he went on to say that that I had sent questionnaires to 250 people, out of which 110 responded. Do you feel that 100 and you are doing a research on Philippines, and 110 would be a sufficient size to talk or anything about a country? The answer is no. Okay. So we send it back for as a reviewer comment. We commented back onto it that please increase the sample size. On the contrary, there was another research paper again which talked about an idea of Philippines, and it talked about a very particular industry of the Philippines. Okay, in which the population size was, say, around 5,000 plus size. That's it. Okay. They were talking about a very particular industry of the Philippines. And thereon they went on to say that, they had sent a questionnaire to around 300-400 people, out of which, and they picked up a sample size, finally they considered as 180 as the people. So we approved of that idea. So see, that's what makes a difference. That on what basis are you able to, my idea, see, many people want to ask this question that, sir, I'm doing a research, what should be my ideal sample size in PhD? There is nothing as ideal sample size. Please understand this thing. Okay, I'm not leaving it to the wisdom of your guide. No, what I'm trying to tell you is a very simple idea, that tomorrow you would be the one who would be defending your thesis, not only for the award of thesis, but for the award of the degree, but later on also you would be asked questions on that. So are you able to justify? Because there would be essential questions: how you picked up the sample size. Okay, how do you think that this sample is justified? Are you, if you have got questions onto that thing, please go ahead and join. Please, please go ahead and say, do that. Okay. Still, the larger sample you have got, again, please look into the population. If you are doing an exclusive research on the CEOs of India, okay, or any particular category of CEOs of India, say Fortune 500 CEOs which are there in India, even a sample size of 50 would be a good size. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That please look into the population, and accordingly please decide the sample size. The more, the better it would be. That's all from my side. I won't take much of your time. I understand it's an evening time. We all have been working for a day long. And thank you very much for joining me today on this, short and sweet, what I have to tell you about this research design. I hope I was able to do some benefit to you out of this thing. Any question in particular, if you are got, you can go ahead and ask me. Else, we can close this session. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, as you have said that sample size should be justified and validate your support. So, sir,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you say that sample size can be attained after we decide the type of sampling or the technique, sampling technique? Because if we are choosing quota, then we have to we have to make the proportionate data out of it. Like suppose
Yes,
500 from 5 organization, that means 100 from each. So,
yes.
uh, Does the sample size depends on the sampling technique as well?
Not essentially, ma'am. Essentially, I would say that the sample size would be determined by by your topic. Okay, because your topic would decide the population, and as the first thing, we know that the sample size should be picked up from the population. So
Okay, sir.
technically, how I am collecting that 500, say for example, in your case, how I am collecting 500, that's a different idea altogether. Okay, that would obviously come later.
Yes, sir. So, like, suppose I'm doing my PhD and am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm doing my PhD in HR, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
my respondents are leaders or managers from IT organizations.
Great. Any
So,
any
I
area
have,
particular, ma'am?
sir, I have taken study in particular India country context. I'm taking
Country
my
context. Oh God.
yeah, sir.
Mm.
So that
Okay.
is quite difficult for me, becoming difficult for me, as I've already got my research proposal passed from DRC members, my research committee,
Mm,
and I'm
actually,
using
okay.
snowball sampling.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can get a more and more number of data from my
Okay.
contacts or from my yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And the problem is that my questionnaire is containing a lot more of items. Like in each scale, I have I'm having around 20 items. 20,
Okay.
20.
And how
So
how
in
many how
total,
many items are there in total?
sir, in total, there is like 50 to 60 items.
Mm-hmm.
So it is time taking, and though leaders and managers they don't have enough time.
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
So can you suggest me something over that in what manner I can get my data collected?
Okay. The simple idea to this would be that, ma'am, what can I say to you? Say if you are resident of a particular, please, I don't want to know that which state or which city you reside. But the simple idea is that, if possible, say you have got a contact in Pune. Say you live in Hyderabad and you have got a contact in Pune. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and at times it is always, good. That's you understand that IT people generally don't work on a Saturday and Sunday. So, if you can send them this questionnaire on a Saturday and Sunday, probably the response rate can be higher. This can be idea number one. Idea number two, if you can actually ask some of your person, or if you can go and visit that city on a Saturday and Sunday and with a pre-appointment with some people, and you can get your questionnaire done. Okay, you getting my point? So that
Yes,
can
sir.
actually help you speed up this collection of data.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing I just skipped in telling you that
Hmm.
I have decided my companies. It's not like that I'm, of course, from my PhD point of view, I'm taking particularly five companies only on the basis of market capitalization that has
Okay.
been
Okay.
provided on my
And
investments.
the DRC has approved this.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Then
but
that idea becomes more simpler, ma'am. Now this idea has become more simpler now.
so but in one particular, suppose if I'm talking about Infosys,
Hmm. Hmm.
from Infosys also, if I talk about like I live in Jaipur, Jaipur there is only one Infosys company, right? One branch
Okay.
of
So
Infosys in
what you
Jaipur.
can do is simple. Then now the idea is simple. So what you can do is, Vangi ma'am, that you can actually go in, say you can seek help from the HRs of those companies. Okay. Or if you get a chance to meet the CEO of that company or some higher ups on that company, and please ask for, please tell them this practical problem and seek their help in these things. What they can do is that they, through their internal messengers, can circulate your questionnaire to other parts of, say, or other branches of Infosys. Now that can help you actually speed up the data. If it comes from HR or if it comes from bosses, now that actually can increase your rate of responses.
Yes, sir. I've spoken to one of the HR managers of Infosys from Jaipur branch only. and they have told me to get the letterhead permission from your college or from your institute, saying that this the information would be confidential and the
Yes,
data
and
will
this
be
would be
collected
used only for
for the
academic
research
purpose.
purpose. Yeah, yeah, all those formalities. But sir, also again, I was thinking that, sir, what if one person is taking at least 10 to 15 minutes? The ideal time to complete my question is 10 to 15 minutes.
Have you finalized your questionnaire?
Yes, sir, I have made it.
Is there any scope that it can be reduced further? Think about it, man. Okay. If
So
you want,
that's
okay,
what my
see
question is.
this can be taken as a pilot study for you, and this pilot study can reveal many ideas onto you.
So right now I'm at that stage only. I'm going for the pilot study.
That's what I'm saying. So this pilot study would give you many ideas as to what you can do with the questionnaire, how you can figure out it in a different way. So probably try that, man.
Yes, sir. So, but my question is, how can I rely on the data that would be come from the respondents? Because if I'm sending it to you, you might know me personally, then you can fill it for the general reason. You might fill it for seriously. But if you refer it to your other friends or relatives, they might just have could be random text on the questionnaire. So in that case, the
That
data
can
would not.
actually happen. That can actually happen. So increase that's
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying. The simple
What
answer
is
to
the
this is that,
solution for that?
ma'am,
If
there
out
are
of
two solutions.
50
Increase.
also I'm getting only 10 respondents
See,
correctly,
there are two solutions for that. One, increase the sample size, and two, maybe a test of skewness and would can help you. Skewness and kurtosis can help you understand that the extent to which your data is normally distributed. So normal distribution means that a person has genuinely collected this data, his or her data. So that can give you an idea on to. See, you cannot ask someone to actually feed in the information, the correct information. Say, for example.
exactly.
Okay. So, but there can be always a near about information, and that's where that result should always be a near about type of things.
Yes, sir, but as I have done the literature review, there are questionnaires containing more than 50 items, and people are getting significant results in their studies.
Actually, yes, ma'am. I'm not questioning on your, that thing that a research questionnaire cannot have more than 50 questionnaires or something like that. It can obviously have, but the point that I'm trying to make is that is the response rate. Okay, can you do something that you can go meet people personally, increase the response rate, or you can you send them with a personal note that it would take 5-10 minutes of yours. So whenever you are free, please take it and 5-10 minutes out of your precious day's time and please fill it to me. Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
you have to approach it in a very different way, very strategic idea, because you are saying it right that people won't feel it seriously. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
that limitation would always be there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So I believe that's it.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Preeti ma'am. Good evening.
Dr. Side. Sir, just wanted to know that one of my student, he has done his summer training program, and
Hmm.
he has done an like वो जो visa company होती है ना sir, like who
Hmm.
provide visa services, IELTS course, GRE course and all, fine.
See.
So during the like it was in the COVID when the company started, but after that it was not giving any kind of physical classes.
Okay.
So he did the internship from there only. So what
Hmm.
happened? His profile is to generate leads by giving post through social media and all. So what happened during the last 2 months? He got only two responses. So
Hmm.
so what like how can I do the sampling for that? Because he got the only two responses. So how can we proceed with the project, summer training project? Research methodology, research tool, I can use the uses of social media and all. So what I will do and how I will help to like in the sampling basically.
थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन मेरे को क्लियर नहीं हुआ. If you can please give me some more idea onto it.
Yeah, fine. I'm telling you, like he did like one of our student did summer training program from like Western visa company kind of thing. It was an online summer training program because that time no company was taking it for the physical training. So
Okay.
he did the
Okay.
summer, and the
Okay.
topic he was given is to generate leads, basically to get admission online. Fine.
Okay. Okay. Here now.
But that
Ah.
is true. That is true by using the post on social media like Insta, FB, YouTube post and all. So during he posted, like he keep on posting that information about the institution, about the like all the promo he can use, whatever
Okay.
he
Okay.
has in his mind, he used
Hmm.
that, but he didn't get much more data
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
He tried to fill up the questionnaire. So how can I convert this low data? See, with this 2 or 3 data, he can't make the project report, right?
Yes.
So how can we
The
increase
question
this?
is, Kriti ma'am, my first question would be that what is that you are trying to test in the research? Is it the level of awareness? Is it the conversion of leads?
Is the
What you
conversion
are
of
trying?
leads? Is the conversion of leads?
Conversion of leads. So, with these three leads in hand,
Yeah.
probably that data is too low to actually say anything about it. Say
Ah,
even if all three converted, like in a tail ender in cricket, they have
yeah.
got a huge score, or say their what should I say, uh, their batting averages are more better even the batsmen, because
Exactly.
their strike rates 3 balls 3 runs, so the strike rate is 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a similar case, Preeti ma'am, it would be quite difficult that if you
So
have got only three leads, you are converting three leads, and then you are saying that it's 100% conversion. That would be too low. What you can say now is that say you pitch this thing, say a particular course to say 100 people,
fine.
okay,
ठीक है? हाँ.
and out of that only three joined in.
Okay, fine. So
And
my
is
sample
possible
so
now?
my sample size would be 100
Yes,
basically.
yes, your sample size would be 100, and then
Yeah.
you can actually, what research you can do is that you can actually go and ask this 97 people as to what they did not find good at the course, or
Okay,
maybe think the issue, or in any, now you should have a particular question to them to be posed, that
fine.
what is that you are testing the course, you are testing the pitching, or you are testing both, say for example. Okay,
हाँ, ठीक है.
you can go
हाँ.
ahead and ask the 97 people, Kritima, कि उनको
Mhm.
क्या अच्छा नहीं लगा, कोर्स अच्छा नहीं लगा, पिचिंग अच्छी नहीं लगी, ऑफर अच्छा नहीं लगा, what was that, why they did not pick up, 97 people did not pick up. Now that becomes a research.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
fine.
and
Because is it
based
huh,
on this data, Pritima, you can go back and uh, convey this data to your company, to the parent company, telling that, okay, these are my suggestions, because this
yeah,
is the feedback I have got from the consumers.
consumers. Fine, fine, fine. So this can be the only solution because with this 3 or 2
Yes.
data, no, like he won't be able to make any kind
No,
of some
nothing,
training report.
nothing,
No.
nothing, nothing, nothing.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So
Thank you so
even if
much.
even if they may not answer a questionnaire for him, say if I've
Huh.
rejected any company, I may not answer a question. It's always better if they call him up and ask him one or two questions, 2 or 3 questions, simplified questions, an interview
Absolutely.
thing.
Now the
That can be a
training part is
simplest
also
idea.
and that also he can't do because the like summer training duration is already over, so
Over,
he can
over.
only like judge the thing basically on his own ideas, no.
So, the basic idea would be that when he was talking to the consumer, what feedback he has got, first hand feedback, why why they might have not been interested in the product or a service that this company was ready to offer. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
based on that thing, and please, only one level of caution for your student, ask
Yeah.
him not to get into any personal biasness.
Yes, yes,
The
definitely.
data should not appear to be biased.
Exactly, exactly. And one more thing, sir, like in this session, like in this whole session during the like research methodology session, will you also guide about the like writing pattern for UGC care or Scopus kind of journal?
I believe yes, there was some topic onto it, but in general also let me give you a very basic idea onto it. Okay, as
Fine,
a
fine.
reviewer, I'm talking about, since you
Uh-huh.
want that to be answered.
I'm talking
Ma'am,
this for myself, not for my student. Definitely for me because I'm
absolutely,
writing.
absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely.
Oh,
See,
fine.
very simple idea, ma'am. As
Yeah.
a reviewer, I'm giving this idea to you. Uh, every journal, okay,
Yeah.
And almost all good journals, they
Yes,
have
sir.
got a guideline, author guideline. Now, I'm not saying about author's guideline that this should be the font, that should be the font. No. All good
Fine.
journals provide you a format as to what format they
Huh.
would like this to be in. Okay.
Exactly, sir.
So before and then, second thing, they always provide you a scope of doing the things. Okay.
Yes,
So it's
yes, sir.
always better, man, that before you actually pick up a journal, look in
Yeah,
for these two things. First, the scope of the journal. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Many journals say that they are multidisciplinary in nature. Most of the UGC care, they say
yeah.
that they are multidisciplinary in nature. But
Yes, sir.
largely, if you see their past, resource issues, they would be
Yeah,
largely focused on one or two primary topics. Okay.
exactly.
So if that is not in coincidence with coinciding with your idea of research, don't do that. Idea number
Fine.
one for you.
Okay, sir.
Two, you would have, what type of, the format that they want it in to be. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So many journals will give you that guideline. So when you are developing a research paper targeting a few journals,
Yeah,
okay, especially
yeah.
Scopus, then please follow their guideline.
Fine, fine.
Okay, that format. Okay. Like
Okay.
say a
Like
few of the
about
case,
large
I'll
what?
give you an example. Few of the case journals that I am associated as a reviewer with, we have got a clear-cut guideline as to what this case expects you to write, or in
Fine.
what format you should be writing a case for us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So the first thing that we check is that format, that has the person given a, say, a research background of it, company background, this background, that. So we have got a particular format, and we would like it to see in that particular format only.
Fine, fine, fine. And one more thing, you know what happened? Like a few days back, I wrote one paper and was trying to looking for the journal. So I got one UGC approved journal. So I
Hmm.
thought it would be better. It would, then I went. They told that in within 2 days we will tell you like what
Hmm,
happened.
hmm,
After
hmm,
that,
hmm.
2 days I got a mail that your paper has been like
Selected. Hello. I think we lost. Uh, Ma'am has lost the connectivity. Kriti ma'am. So I believe that's it. I've taken much of your time. Uh, so that's it from my side, friends. Uh, Thank you for your time and patience, and so kind of you to be with me this evening. I see for look forward to meeting you at some other point of time in some other discussions. Uh, if I believe I can be of some help to you, so you're always most welcome for that.
I'm
Uh,
I'm so sorry. I
again,
got
Pretty ma'am, is it that yes, you are saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really sorry it got disconnected. Someone removed me
Absolutely
from the
not an issue.
meeting.
Absolutely not an issue.
No issue. So I just wanted to know like about the use. Then they selected my paper and they said like it is a paid. So, sir, how it is possible that if it is a UGC approved journal, it will be a paid one?
Ma'am, see, there are two ways of looking at it. One, Uh, UGC Care journals are, you go to the UGC Care site. There are some, clone journals, so be aware of them.
Okay.
UGC went on to, goes on to describe the predatory journals.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's, please be, aware of this idea that um, it takes time actually to review and do things like that. So within 2 days, nothing can happen. So
Actually, huh?
so please bear in mind that there is a list of clone journals which is available on that thing. So please
Fine.
don't get into that trap.
Oh, so only journal which are listed in the UGC care we should go with that only,
Actually,
no?
yes, in that care list, yes.
Absolutely. They have mentioned the clone journal also in the
Yes,
parallel column. They had
absolutely.
mentioned the clone journal
Yes, they have
also.
mentioned the clone journals.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Team RFI, I'm done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ajay sir. Thank you, Team RFI, and all my faculty colleagues who have joined in with me. Okay, so all colleagues, I look forward to meeting you at some